Cool. Cool. So here we are, Secret Show down in Fountain Square, down at Indie String Theory. I'm Troy Track Select. This is the select few sessions, and for December, shout out to the Sagittarius. We got Pat and the Pissers. So I'm not going to talk a whole bunch. I'm just going to let them start, and we'll get into all the interview stuff later. Right?
Thank you. You're a bad banter last line of defense. Where's the big joke of the night?
This is Moth. Thanks to Indie String Theory for letting us do this in here. Those are all of my guitars. Okay.
It's about time.
We put an album out called Soda. This is how it starts. number 2 that we built in. Woohoo! Thank you, Troy, for having us. It's the holiday season. I don't know if it will be when this comes out. Will it be?
Yeah.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. We're going to play some old songs. They're really old. We're trying to remember how they go. Told you it was a hard one. Walking down the street so carefree? Or are you just a lifeless body bleeding out of
This is my song. Here it goes. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Drums. I'm gonna give us a 6 out of 10 on that one. 3 demerits for me. It's a demerit. That's a demerit. Demerit. It's a demerit. Oh, cool. All right. Thank you for having us. We're called Pat and the Pissers. We're on Spotify and Apple Music and all that other bull crap.
Yeah, we've got merch and all that bull crap.
Stick around for the touring bands.
Smoke a cigarette during the touring bands.
I'll be at home. This song's about eating pancakes. She said she needed a break.
You can sit down.
You guys ever been to
You can
Cleveland?
sit down.
Then what?
With my friend Leland.
You ever been to Cleveland?
stop.
Shot, man. All right, you guys ready?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, yeah. So every 30 minutes, but.
Yeah, can we get a cut of this?
Oh yeah, it's not even gonna. We're about to.
I didn't really know.
Cool. So I always forget how to start these, even though I've done this several times at this point. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, my name is Troy Track Select. This is the Select Few Sessions. Very happy to have Pat and the Pissers here. Very great. Wow. Yeah, this is Troy Track Select. And if you're watching, you're one of the select few. I always forget to say that. Secret show. Very small audience here. A couple of homies in the back that's going to say a little something, maybe ask a couple of questions or two, but it's going to be mostly just me and the gang. So I think, would you all like to just kind of introduce everyone who I'm actually talking to and say what your names are, if you're cool with that?
My name is Alex, and I sing.
My name is Alex, and I sing.
My name is Connor, and I play drums.
My name is Matt, and I play the guitar.
Coolio, dog. So one of the first things I want to say is I want to thank Indie String Theory for allowing us to be in here today. Super happy, super proud. It was just an amazing experience, and I'm glad that they let us use this space. Indie String Theory is a guitar shop located in Fountain Square, and here they allow you to demo all the instruments, so all the guitars you saw when Pat and the Pistons were playing, you can come and demo them right now. They're hanging up on the wall, unless they're sold by the time you get there, and that has nothing to do with me. They also repair quite a few guitars and quite a few different instruments and amps and make modifications if that's something that you'd like to do. And also, if you're an artisan who wants to get some of your instruments sold here, that's something you can do as well. So that's really about all the info you need. I think you guys would really enjoy it if you come down here. I come down here and talk to them all the time about all sorts of questions that I have on instruments or wires, and if they don't have it in shop, they'll definitely order it for you. They have lots of pedals as well that they sell. So really anything guitar related, I think you're coming to a great spot. A lot of people prefer to use them, especially the more renowned gig players in the city. A lot of pretty notable players come here and get their things repaired. So if you want to be like the best, come down to Indie String Theory. All right. Enough of the sponsor's message. I think we're just going to go into it. So one of the first questions I guess I should ask for this one, since we're talking about a band, is how long have you guys been playing together and doing this whole thing?
Like 4.5 years, I think.
Yeah.
We started our senior year of college, and then we never intended to keep going, but we did, and here we are. Lots of rock later. But I think 4.5 years. We put our first tape out in September of 2018. 2018.
Cool, man. I think when I first met you, funny enough, was when the day your second album dropped, so Soil, I guess, if you want to call it the second one, which is crazy because I was going through my text messages and I was like, oh, snap, like I had no idea that it happened to drop that day. You guys were performing at Square Cat Vinyl, which was quite a great show. As all of your shows, if you guys just saw it, I mean, you see there a madman out there climbing on stuff. So definitely watch for your head if they're jumping over you and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, do you guys have a certain creative process that you like to go through when you are making your songs? How does that work?
How's that work, Alex?
They all start a little differently. It started with Connor and I kind of writing songs together. I would write a song, and then once we added Matt into the band shortly after we began, and writing the latter half of Soil and everything since then, we've pretty much written everything together. We'll bring a riff maybe to practice, and then we'll expand on that. Or we rented a cabin once and went and wrote 3 songs at that cabin, I think, and that'll be most of our next release. So we're pretty excited about that. But yeah, everybody does their own thing. We give each other pointers and a lot of trial and error. I don't know. Anybody else got input on that? Kilmer does the bass. Connor does the drums.
And then after we do all the hard work, Beckman goes away and writes some lyrics and then comes back. And
Yeah, I guess I was wondering, do you guys always, who writes the lyrics? Do you guys sometimes take turns and then decide who's going to sing later, or?
I write all the lyrics. Kilmer wrote Connor, and then I write everything else.
Cool, man. Connor is probably my favorite song on Soil.
All right, well, thanks for the interview. This is,
You're not the first to say that, sir.
It's really a great
but you're the last.
Turn the lights out! No. But, so I guess we'll just jump into that since we're kind of talking about the most recent release. What is, or who is Connor? I was looking up some stuff, and I have some ideas on who I think it is.
Well, who do you think it is?
So I saw there's a documentary called The Majestic Plastic Bag where the director's name is Jeremy Connor, and he's talking about pollution, not necessarily gas, mostly the plastics in the air that we breathe. But it might be something else.
That's,
Nail on the head.
that's badass. I had no clue that existed or that his name was Connor as well. But I just wrote that song about, like, from the point of view of, like, the devil coming to Earth to, like, check in. And he's like, yeah, it looks good. And then I didn't, like, finish writing the songs until we were in the studio, or the words until we were in the studio recording it. And so then I wrote the words, like, Connor says that everything's fine because he's such, like, an easygoing guy. This guy. That kind of represents how everybody's just like, oh, fuck it. Like, we made this mess, we'll swim in it.
Yeah.
And so then we decided to call the song Connor. But that's a cool coincidence.
Yeah,
I'm going to just start saying that's what that means.
I was going to say, if that's not it, just tell everybody
It's
that's
way
where you got
cooler.
it.
Way cooler.
It's like a mockumentary.
What was his name?
Jeremy Connor's the director of The
Okay.
Majestic Plastic Bag.
That's awesome.
Yeah. There's also
More
like
you know.
Connor turbines, like gas turbines or something.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't think that was it.
You have such much more like profound explanations than the truth.
Hey man, I was just digging into it. I was like, maybe I discovered something. Maybe I'm overthinking it. It's possible.
That's way cooler.
Yes. So, I guess something else. If we're talking about soil, there seems to be a big theme of, well, even if you look at the album art, there's planet Earth and a bunch of bullet holes and doves and a big caterpillar that all spell out the word soil. So there definitely seems to be a theme that you guys were going for when you guys were recording it. What would you guys say that is?
Well, one of the major themes definitely is climate denial, like climate change denial, and frustration with that. The artwork was done by our buddy Alex out of Detroit. He goes by Wolf Bomb, and he's done some artwork for us before, but he really knocked it out of the park with that, I think. Especially with that is one of the major themes of the album. So,
If you're like writing angry music right now, like it's hard not to be angry about that, you know.
Yeah. Were you guys planning on going with that theme when you were going into the album, or did you just write a bunch of songs that seemed to?
it was just like, by the time all 12 songs were done, there was like the major theme of climate, there was a major theme of the wage disparity, and there was a major theme of like depression and like trying to work through that and be better about that.
And a lot of it was written in the pandemic.
Yeah, a lot of it was. One
That
song
makes
was
sense.
written pre-pandemic, a lot of it was during, and a few songs were after. Out of Style is like my reaction to the pandemic, how I wrote that at the beginning when I was still locked inside my house, and the anger of just watching some people act like nothing's wrong, and some people taking it adequately seriously, and some people not taking it seriously at all, and some people overreacting. We all had our own methods of dealing with it, and that was just kind of a frustrating point of my process going through COVID and just feeling like we're not going to learn anything from this. And I think we have. I think that song has outproven itself.
We learned that shit wasn't real.
Yeah, it's not.
It's a joke.
Yeah, you might want to specify.
The views of Kilmer do not reflect the views of Pat and the Pisser as well.
But our next album, The Plandemic, is out next year.
So I guess speaking of that, there's a song towards the end called Footnote, and you mentioned towards the end, or it's kind of the main chorus that you guys are yelling out the entire time of I want more from the government, I want more from myself, I want more than to give in again. What is this more that you're asking for?
Really just to be better, to comprehend more, to listen to people more, to really take in what we were going through at that time and what we're still going through now. But yeah, that song is kind of the second half of Out of Style is the beginning and that's the end. And it's just kind of recapping, the record, like you said. And it really is more or less like I want more for myself. I can only be better. The world can only be better if I'm better and if I push my peers to be better. But yeah, I think sums it up.
I think it's good to end a record themed like that with a message of accountability for ourselves and for our peers.
I think that's solid. We definitely see on the internet, especially after some of the George Floyd protests and during COVID, there was this huge, kind of revolt and starting revolution that I think a lot of people were scared of. But again, it's kind of like, oh, it happened and it was a big deal, but here we are now. It's almost like none of that stuff happened. But kind of speaking on a lot of the things that you talk about in the record, you mentioned several ways that the planet will likely end. I think on Connor, you're like, you're dead 40 years tops, going to quit your job.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man,
Resource wars.
I really think about it. Is there a way that you think we're all going to get taken out of here?
I think,
Do any of you have an opinion on that?
It just sucks. I don't know. Though I think the way it's heading, it's just like fleeting resources, and like we're all gonna be down here pit against each other. And that's what it'll come to. 2020.
I view it as a slow kind of systematic dwindling of human existence rather than one big cataclysmic thing that might even be happening as we speak. And is in
no asteroid coming to hit us.
No, I don't think there's any asteroid. Maybe. Yeah, that's always that's not on the front of the mind worrying about that. I like to try to not be as nihilistic about it, but it just seems like as a culture we try to fix problems after they're already. We realize the problem and take it seriously after it's too late, and there's things that we could be doing now that we're not doing. But that's rock and roll, baby.
I was thinking about that as I was kind of listening to the album a whole bunch of times. Do any of you have like a favorite disaster movie that the Earth has kind of destroyed? I think mine is Contagion, because I was watching that during the pandemic, and I was like, oh man, this is entertaining, but also like, outside is looking a lot like this movie.
Well, I think the post-apocalyptic scape of Mad Max is like the most like compelling. It's like, you got like warlords and people like controlled by an access to like something like water. Yeah. And most everybody's dead, and there's hardly it's just a bad hellscape out there, So this is uplifting.
Yeah, in Connor, you say there's canned goods hiding under the floor. It's something you'll kill each other for.
Yeah,
and I was like Mad Max. That's what I thought.
Yeah. Or like Book of Eli, kind of escape.
That's one of my favorites, actually. I might change my answer. Book of Eli is good, but do either of you have a kind of a favorite disaster movie that you think about sometimes, especially since you were writing an album like this? And I know my brain goes in weird places when we're talking about these albums, but
I watched This Is the End not too long ago.
Yeah, that came up. I typed up disaster movies. That one came up.
That one's real.
I just always think of it as like Last Man on Earth, just the show with Will Forte, which is much sillier than it would probably actually be.
I wasn't thinking too much disaster when I was writing a lot of these songs. I think it's cool it came off that way. I think my favorite disaster movie is Return of the Living Dead, because I just think it's goofy and funny and my favorite thing to watch on Halloween. But I'm not a big disaster movie kind of person. Disaster movie itself is pretty bad.
Yeah, it's pretty awful, but I think as a kid I really liked it. But you don't know anything when you're a kid. Also, I shouldn't have been watching that, but it's whatever.
My mom wouldn't let me.
Yeah.
She said no.
Let me make sure I get all these. I'm surprised. Oh, okay, this is a good one. So there are a lot of moments that you guys create on both of your projects that fans have a strong reaction to when I see you guys perform live. Do you intentionally write to make those moments, or do they just happen and fans react to it and then you just really dig into it when you guys are performing live?
Those moments are pretty new for us.
Once we got Beckman off the guitar, it kind of changed a whole lot.
That's so mean. It's true. No, I think a lot of the sing-along parts I never thought about when doing that. But it's the coolest thing in the world when you see somebody singing those words back at you or yelling them in unison or hugging their friend and screaming, "Don't come in my house."
Yeah.
It's the dumbest song I've ever written, but I'm happy it brings so many people together.
It's funny that's the "Don't Come in My House" is the one that people get down to the hardest
Yeah, they
too,
love that
because
one.
we wrote that in the car as a joke, and that's why we say we love Detroit, because we were gonna go play in Detroit with our friends in the Stools, and we just farted that song out. now it's gospel.
I guess speaking of moments, do you guys have a favorite song that you guys like to perform versus just your favorite song in general? Any of you?
I like we play a lot of songs that we haven't released live, and I like those a lot because we get to toy with the songs a little bit, and by the time we go to record them, they're more fully set and ready to go, and different parts change and get better and get stronger, and we realize how to bounce stuff off each other better. But live right now, I really like playing So Thick because it's just so cool to watch so many people sing that hook at the same time, and I think that's a really fun song, and it's just fast. It goes hard. 50 seconds. It's good too. Connor, what's your favorite song?
Yeah.
You'll never guess.
Is it Connor?
No. I like playing "Stuck with Me" because I get my little moment in that song. So, yeah, and I'm really excited for the new stuff. There's a couple of those that I'm looking forward to playing live. So,
Cool, man. Do you have a song that's already released that you like, not necessarily like performing it the best, but you just like listening to it the most? That might be different than, Stuck With Me, but it doesn't matter if it is the same.
yeah, I like "So Thick" too. It's just kind of a banger.
Yeah. It is. Do you have a favorite?
Anything I have a guitar solo in is typically my favorite.
Yeah.
But I will say one of the most fun is So Thick. Like just having a second to look up and see people having a really good time. Like that's always really a special part of the night.
I like listening to Injury. I think it's my favorite one to listen to that we've released. It's a fun song. That one's also fun because it is slow and then kicks you out of nowhere. And it's fun watching people get their breath in a pit and then snap right back into it.
Yeah. That's true. That was a moment also when I saw you guys perform it a lot here in Fountain Square. I believe it was Kilmer. I know it's Alex for real, but I'm trying to memorize everyone's last name.
I like Kilmer most.
Okay, Kilmer. I didn't know that anyone else would sing in the group ever. So I remember seeing Alex all the way on the right, your left. But I remember seeing Alex start to put a guitar on. I was like, well, what's going on? And then you kind of popped out of nowhere and just started screaming. I was like, oh shit, that's it was a really fun moment for me to just be surprised by that. Do you really enjoy singing? Do you think you'll sing more in the future on projects?
Daddy Beckman won't let me. He wants the microphone. That's not accurate at all. When I wrote Connor, I'd kind of pitched it. I didn't really know if they would dig it or if I would sing it or if I would hand the reins over to Beckman to sing it.
Sure.
So I would like to write and perform one. I don't want to do more than one song in a live show though.
Okay.
I like that being the little the little trait for me.
You also like have done frontman stuff in other bands in the past too.
Yeah,
so
I'm over it.
Is that enough?
Do you think either of you would want to eventually just sing at some point? Like you could play drums and sing. I like when drummers sing. I think it's kind of cool.
No, no.
Not much of a Phil Collins.
Soup's in the cooler.
Soups in the cooler.
Yeah, see, he's got pipes.
Yeah.
Hiding it in a
shower,
bushel
more of a
basket.
shower.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
None of us can play drums either.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you'd have to like play and sing at the same time, but I think that shit's pretty darn cool.
If I ever did that, it would probably be the worst song that we ever do.
Except for the Please cover set. Except for the Please cover set. Get in the mic.
The what?
The Police cover set they're about to do. Doesn't that guy sing? The Police drummer?
No.
The bass player.
Scrap that.
This guy does not know what he's talking about.
I don't know what I'm
Never listened to
talking about.
classic
I
rock.
swear,
Never
I
heard
swear.
any of that.
Phil Collins.
Isn't that the guy from the Police?
No, he's from
Oh
No.
God! Keep this in here, please. I want people to roast.
I don't
him.
listen to dad rock.
Oh my gosh!
Sheesh.
Embarrassing.
I guess I was listening to that stuff because my dad was listening to it. So
I listen to Green Day, The Hives, and Pat and the Pissers, and that's it.
Spotify rap's really boring.
sheesh. Interesting. Well, any of you guys have questions that you want to ask? You're here. Throw something out.
Whip one at us.
Yeah, let's go. Well, Ari, you go first.
You not knowing who the drummer of the Police is kind of throws this.
Stuart Copeland.
Yeah. No, like, so, punk hardcore influence, obviously, but I think there are some, like, timeless moments in your guys' music as well, as far as, like, you know, not being pigeonholed into, we're a fast punk band that plays minute-and-a-half-long songs. You know, that's who you are, but I think it's kind of cool there are timeless moments. Is that something intentional? Like, you know, mixing in some of the classic rock feel and, you know, that sort of stuff.
I feel like it kind of just happened. I mean, like before I met Beckman, I never even played punk music before, and I mean these two are some like jazz players, so like I don't know, kind of just happened, you
I
know.
think the instrumentation like comes through. It kind of speaks to not like we're not a punk band only. You know, like you are, but you know.
Thank you. I like that.
Yeah.
I tricked him into playing in a punk band, quote unquote. But no, we definitely never wanted to put ourselves in a box where we could only play minute-and-a-half long songs. And I think that's why we have like songs like Debris and songs like Footnote, where we leave it open to be able to make different music. And we have newer songs we're working on that like kind of spreading out of. There's still the hardcore songs coming, but there's also we've been working on stuff that's not just a minute long.
Yeah, sure.
Does that make sense?
There's nothing wrong with that.
I think that cleared it.
No, there's nothing wrong with it at all, and those are my favorite bands. But we like to be able to do whatever we want to do, and you know, if we want to make a country record one day, we're gonna make some country music.
I'm looking for some country bands, so you know if you guys want to switch over for a little bit, do another show, that's fine. Ari, you had a question that you were gonna ask?
Yeah, it's probably a real corny music journalist, typical question. But on that note, what are some of y'all's like one greatest inspiration? I feel like y'all do so much in your music.
3, 2, 1,
Go.
rush.
Oh, that makes okay. Yeah, Rush is great, man.
For real? Is that a real answer?
I first wanted to pick up a guitar when I heard Jimi Hendrix when I was a little kid, and it still sticks with me. That's still probably my biggest influence.
Last but not least.
Oh, I don't know. I think performing-wise, people like the lead singer of the Hives. A lot of fun to watch. The lead singer, Cage the Elephant, Iggy Pop. Just a lot of energetic, make you want to.
Felt some HR
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Yes.
People like
this.
Yeah. I want people to have fun with me, so that's my inspiration.
Nice.
Cool, man. Gwen, you got something?
Yeah, so I caught you guys at a show, I want to say a year and a half ago, with Anti-Feds, and it was like crazy fucking hype. I remember at one point you got in there and you like made like a little, what do they call it when you like part the seats?
Wall of death.
Yes, we fucking rushed at each other. So what do you think brings that kind of energy to a crowd? Because I've been to plenty of shows that were not that.
Anti-Freds brought some energy that night. They brought a pretty cool crowd there that night. I think people just, a big thing to get people to mosh, I think, is whatever space you're in, fill it up well. And if you can be in a tiny room, and it's more fun than being in a really big room with less people. And if you know that, like, if you push somebody and you fall down, you're going to get picked back up, and the people around you are going to take care of you while they're bumping into you, I think that's what creates the best, I don't know, the best area for moshing and rock and roll and stuff.
I think a lot of it is like like going into it with a good mindset. Like if I played a show in a bad mood, you probably tell. So if like we put that out there that we're here to play a rockin' show and people are there to have fun, and it's kind of like a back and forth kind of thing.
That's the first thing you do, like when we get on stage. We'll start it off by like playing something like funky and sexy, and then Beckman gets the crowd all riled up. So like right off the bat, like you better be smiling, motherfucker. Like like you don't have a choice. Like he breaks down that wall of like insecurity where like people like don't want to move. Like some you'll see like people dancing and you're like, oh, it's not me. That's it's
I can't do that.
He like right off the bat like tears that down. So I think that helps. And also like this city is so many badass bands, and like that bill that night was amazing. So they had already seen great music. The spirits were already high. So I think all that contributes to a night like that. Was that at Square Cat that evening with Anti-Feds? At Healer, that too.
Oh, yes,
That was
a good
that
one.
night was
That was
badass in DRLN.
That was
like our second or third back from the pandemic. So there was also that. Everybody was like fresh out of quarantine. So there's a lot of factors.
I think another thing about this band too is that we're all really actually having a good time, and people can resonate with that when they see people phoning it in. It doesn't hit in the same way as when 4 people are on stage having just as much fun as if they were out in the crowd.
Sure.
Yeah, we're friends. If you want to have good chemistry, euchre. We play lots of euchre.
Kilmer and I, undefeated champs.
Connor is a terrible winner. He's the worst.
Hey, just a little bit of banter. Okay? Nothing wrong with
Matt and I are in a rut. We're coming back. Don't you worry.
Get good.
No, but yeah, it was touching when he said Indianapolis is the best scene or the best city in America right now. It's so good. There's so many great bands. There's so many people coming to shows and supporting and having fun and finding new bands every single day and starting new bands. And I feel like a couple years ago, it seemed to me that this city wouldn't support 2 big shows, and now you can do 3 sold-out shows in a night, and there's no overlap, and people are having fun no matter where they go. And there's a lot of younger bands that are doing super, super cool stuff. And I just feel so lucky to be here right now and to be in a band right now in this city.
Yeah, I feel the same. That's why I was able to do select few sessions, because I feel like a lot of other places this wouldn't work just because it's already so saturated, and it's kind of a perfect timing type thing, and a culture that's pushing for more art and more music and just doing more creative stuff in general. So I love Indianapolis because of that. Are there any bands or artists that you would want to see do a select few session?
All of them. There's a young band right now called Kayahara, and I think they would be great for it. They just put an album out. They're just killer. I got a thumbs up in the back. Yeah, that band is awesome. I love Inner Peace. I think they're great.
Yeah.
We could just sit here and I can name you 1,000 bands. But yeah, any band in Indiana right now would be great.
Dope, man. I'm gonna put my eyes out because I'm looking for bands and artists of all sorts all the time. So if you want to get at me, get at Mr. Troy Track Select on Instagram, because I'm there all the time and I see all the messages. So you probably got a pretty good shot. Any closing notes you guys want to leave off before we finish?
Rock and roll will never die. Never stop supporting local music and your peers and uplifting each other.
Yeah, thanks for having us, and thanks for doing this, because this is a really, really cool platform for all sorts of bands to have. This is great.
Cool, dog.
Thanks to Indie String Theory again. Thank you for the Kitty Cat bass amp.
Yes.
They let us borrow that.
That was cute as fuck.
They also gifted us like 9 guitars. We were like, guys, enough's enough. I have 4 Gretches already. No. This was awesome. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, thanks for coming on the show, guys.
Soup's in the cooler.
I think you were the one that talked like this. I never said one word like this. Not even one.
In the cooler. Can you keep the Phil Collins thing in there, the Stuart Copeland thing in there, please?
Isn't Phil Collins